Tonight on Y News, the government orders entry ban against 2 U.S. senators who have proposed the U.S. ban on Philippine officials involved in Senator Leila de Lima's detention. Big-time oil price hike looms next month. Rains dumped by Typhoon Ursula slightly increases Angat Dam's water level. Typhoon Ursula's death toll rises to 28. And flood survivors in Iloilo recall their ordeal at the height of the onslaught of Typhoon Ursula. Good evening. U.S. Senators Durbin and Leahy are banned from entering the Philippines. Meanwhile, the Duterte administration threatens to require U.S. travelers to secure Philippine visas before they can enter the Philippine territory. Rosalie Cos reports why.
The Duterte administration has banned U.S. Democrat Senators Durbin and Leahy. Durbin and Leahy are the U.S. legislators pushing for the conditional review of the USA's assistance to the Philippines and the U.S. 2020 national budget, which contains a provision that prohibits the entry to the U.S. of Philippine government officials involved in the detention of Senator Leila de Lima. According to presidential spokesperson and Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo, President Rodrigo Duterte himself made the decision to ban the 2 American Solons. Malacañang reiterates the Philippines will not sit idly given the interference of other nations in the Philippine justice system. The Duterte administration maintains its stand that the government has not persecuted Senator de Lima and her detention underwent a legal process. It is the court which decided on her drug-related cases, the palace adds.
The Philippines is immediately ordering the Bureau of Immigration to deny U.S. Senators Durbin and Leahy, the imperious, uninformed, and gullible American legislators who introduced the subject provision in the 2020 budget entry to the Philippines.
If the United States of America proceeds with the implementation of the entry ban on the Philippine government officials involved in the detention of Senator de Lima, the government threatens to require U.S. travelers to secure Philippine visa. This includes even Filipinos who obtain U.S. citizenship.
Should a ban from entry into U.S. territory be enforced against Philippine officials involved in or by reason of Senator de Lima's lawful imprisonment, this government will require all Americans intending to come to the Philippines to apply and secure a visa before they can enter Philippine territory.
The Department of Justice has yet to receive the president's formal directive. The palace assures President Duterte considered everything before coming up with such decision, including its possible effects on the Philippine economy and tourism.
When the president makes a decision, all circumstances are factored in.
On another note, President Duterte has no plans to accept the invitation of U.S. President Donald Trump for the Philippine Chief Executive to visit the U.S. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue.
The last tranche of excise tax on fuel will take effect from January to April next year. This means that the price of gasoline will have an additional 1 peso and 12 centavos per liter, additional 1 peso and 68 centavos per liter for diesel, and additional 1 peso and 12 centavos on kerosene. In line with this, the Department of Energy, or DOE, has previously advised oil companies to submit their respective inventory reports on or before December 31 to make sure that the provisions regarding excise tax on fuel products are properly enforced. Likewise, the DOE warned oil retailers that they can only impose the second round of the tax hike or new inventories imported or produced from local refineries in 2019. Are you a commuter who takes a jeepney ride every day and pays 9 pesos the minimum jeep fare. Did you know that transport groups are appealing for a 2 peso fare increase? Let's find out why from Asher Kadapan Jr.
Several transport groups are petitioning for an 11 peso minimum fare for jeepneys. The fare petition is brought about by an increase in the price of petroleum products due to excise tax that will be effective beginning January 1. This is in accordance with Republic Act 10963, or the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion, or TRAIN law. Once this law takes effect, more than a peso per liter will be added on top of the price of petroleum products. From the current 9 peso minimum jeepney fare, transport groups appeal for a 2 peso hike for jeepney drivers and operators to recover from the excise tax. But for some jeepney passengers, that's too much.
Ang laki naman, sana kahit piso lang. Kasi malaking bagay na yung piso eh.
Hindi naman po tumataas yung sweldo, pero tumataas po yung transpo, yung sa pamasahe po.
Pasang Mazda, together with other transport groups, plans to file a consolidated petition to the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, next month. According to Pasang Mazda President Obet Martin, they are obliged to file such petition for the sake of the jeepney drivers and operators.
Sa akin talagang kontrang-kontra ang aking damdamin sa pagtataas. Subalit, pagtataas ng pamasahe. Subalit, wala po akong magagawa sapagkat ang presyo po ng aming ginagamit na panggatong o itong diesel ay tumaas na naman po.
The transport groups are scheduled to meet in January to further discuss their petition. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Consumers may continue to experience water service interruptions despite a reported increase in the water level of Angat Dam. Ray Pelayo reports why.
Angat Dam's water level has reached 200.63 meters as of 6 a.m. today. That's a 1.23 meters increase from its level on yesterday. Although Central Luzon was not directly affected by Typhoon Ursula, the heavy rains that fell in the area may be associated with this week's tropical cyclone, according to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA. The National Water Resources Board, or NWRB, says the 40 cubic meters per second water allocation from Angat Dam for Metro Manila will remain. They will, however, discuss if there is a need for adjustments as the dam must reach the target level of 212 meters. According to water concessionaire Manila Water, the time of scheduled water interruptions will depend on the demand. The Metropolitan Water Works and Sewerage System explains the implementation of water interruptions is to sustain the water supply until the next dry season. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The number of deaths due to Typhoon Ursula continue to rise. Meanwhile, the National Risk Reduction and Management Council sees the need to intensify their efforts further for the coming storms. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
The number of deaths due to Typhoon Ursula has increased to 28, according to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. Of this number, 19 were from Western Visayas region, 1 in Cebu, and 8 from Eastern Visayas. 2 were recorded injured, while authorities continue to look for 12 that remain missing. Meanwhile, the Department of Agriculture reports that damages to agriculture across the country after Typhoon Ursula's onslaught has reached 633 million pesos.
Mas malaki ang naging impact sa fisheries industry nitong bagyo na ito kasi kung tutuusin, nag-suspend tayo ng mga maritime operations, kasama na din yung fishing activities doon. Kaya napigil yung pangingisda ng ating mga kababayan.
More than 40,000 fisher folks were affected by Typhoon Ursula. 55 school buildings were also damaged, while more than 2,000 houses were either totally or partially damaged by Ursula. 12,800 families are currently staying in various evacuation centers as the government continues to pour in relief goods and aid to typhoon-affected Filipinos. Although Ursula was somewhat weaker compared with Typhoon Tisoy, Ursula's effect is greater, what with the number of deaths and scope of damages caused. On this video, you can see the traumatic experience and perilous situation these victims went through just to survive the onslaught of Typhoon Ursula as it barreled through the municipality of Balasan in Iloilo province. Some lost their homes, livelihood, and farm animals. But the worst of all, others lost their loved ones. This is despite the efforts and preparations done by the local government and government agencies for Typhoon Ursula.
Our advanced preparations involved preemptive evacuation. We were able to evacuate almost more than 50,000 sa mga kababayan natin coming from danger zones, yung mga landslide-prone and flood-prone areas.
To prevent these numbers from increasing when more typhoons come, the NDRRMC sees the need to intensify their efforts.
Mukhang kailangan mas palakasin pa natin yung ating mga reglamento when it comes to the evacuation arrangement at pag may paparating na bagyo.
Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
3 persons in Iloilo province survived the flooding incident, but others couldn't. One of the survivors was even able to take a video of their struggle. Nina Armilio reports.
Members of the Diaz's family were inside their house in Barangay Pasayan when the flood water began to rise in Batad, Iloilo in the early hours of Wednesday. 64-year-old Alma recounts they all panicked when the water entered their house. They managed to get out and left the casket where his brother's remains lay. Outside, there was strong current. The family were washed away. Of the 6 family members, only Alma survived. Alma tried to save her 12-year-old daughter LG, but failed.
Hindi ko na siya po nakita dahil ang dilim-dilim. Hindi ko na makita. Pero kung maliwanag yun, baka siguro kung nano ko siya dahil marunong pa ako maglangoy eh. Kahit matanda na ako.
Alma shares she was also washed away by the flood, but she managed to hold on to a Madre de Cacao tree.
Nakatingala ko sa langit. Panginoon, tulungan mo ako. Bigyan mo pa ako ng lakas ng loob. Tapos nakita ko yung kahoy po. Ganon yung dahon. Lumangoy ako tapos kumapit. Sabi ko sa sarili ko, hindi ako bibitiw hanggat may lakas ako. Ano ko yung sarili ko. Isalba ko yung sarili ko. Pero sabi ko, wala na yan ako. Napaluha na lang ako.
Alma clung to the tree for almost 3 hours until rescue came at about 5 a.m. The bodies of LG, Alma's nephew Roel, and his 3 children were found Wednesday afternoon. 10-year-old Ferdy Boy DL, who was at that time with the Diaz's household, survived.
Nung ginanag kami katubig, daso nakabunggo ko to, daso nakakapot ko sa kuwayan. Gulpi lang pagampas katubig, mga pagkaanod naman.
In Poblacion Sur, Balasan, Iloilo, Argel Burhaso and others were also washed away with a sudden rush of flood water. They managed to take a video of their situation at that time while clinging onto a mango tree.
Nang San Domingo na lang kami nagkupo kay madalom nagid siya ya. Ibo na wiring, ang wiring na kakuryente gali Amo na mo nging kaptan ma'am para makatabok lang kami sa tabok naman nga karsada.
An old woman who was with them did not survive. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Pampanga's favorite chicken is now in Quezon City. How about that? Best House of Chicken makes sure everyone who enters its doors will exit satisfied and will return for more. Monokson will tell us why.
Craving for chicken, no matter how it's cooked, fried, roasted, or what have you. If you're living or working within Metro Manila, there's no need to travel far to satisfy your cravings. Because today, a new branch of Best House of Chicken opened at Century's Quezon City. Here, customers will enjoy the delicious crispy fried chicken, the tasty and juicy inasal, and the healthy and sumptuous roasted herb chicken, and a lot more.
Nandito na lahat ng products eh. Halimbawa, isang pamilya kayo, yung matanda ang gusto niya roasted yung chicken niya, ayaw niya ng prito. Gusto niya inihaw yung chicken niya, ayaw niya ng deep fried. O, yung mga bata naman, ang gusto nila fried chicken. May gusto nila spaghetti. Ibig lang sabihin, kung isang pamilya kayo, kakain kayo sa isang fast food, kung ano meron sa ibang fast food, meron dito sa Best House of Chicken.
But more than the taste of Best House of Chicken's menu are the cooking procedures to ensure not just delicious but also healthy chicken dishes.
So pinaprocess agad namin ang aming chicken after manggaling sa katayan. So, hindi namin siya pinoprocess, hindi namin siya pinagtatagal. Kahit na fast food siya, masasabi namin, hindi namin maatim na mapakain namin ang aming kapwa ng pagkain na hindi healthy. Hindi kami nag-uulit-ulit ng mantika.
Just like the first branch in Pampanga, everything on Best House of Chicken's menu is budget-friendly. A meal ranges from 89 pesos to about 150 pesos, from crispy fried chicken, inasal, and flavored chicken. For today's soft opening of your new favorite chicken house, Jesse and company came all the way from Mindanao.
Siyempre, masarap po. Kaya po, madalas po kami bumabalik pag napunta po kami dito sa Metro. Talagang pinupuntahan po talaga namin ng House of Chicken.
Will Rose, on the other hand, shares that she enjoyed her chicken right at her first time in Best.
Masarap pero kulang pa. May order pa kami dito sa grill.
Best House of Chicken is open from 6 a.m. until midnight. But come January 2020, you can get a buzz out of the best chicken for 24 hours. Meanwhile, I saw this group ordering food. They are members of youth group, the Bible Readers, or Bread Society. I got curious why they bought a lot. When they got their orders, I followed outside the restaurant. To my surprise, I saw them giving the food they bought to homeless people they found nearby. With only a limited budget, these youth chose to share their blessings instead of enjoying just by themselves. These families living on the streets have no possessions in life. If there is anyone in the world that deserves to eat delicious foods, it's those who have less in life, just like what the Bible teaches. We must always remember, blessings from above are better shared with the poor and the needy. So when you see one, that is an opportunity for you to do good, even in the littlest of ways. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up to where Angelo Castro III left off. I am Alex Baltazar, and here are the headlines. Fatalities caused by Lambo Nog poisoning reaches 17. A Chinese national was arrested for indiscriminate firing in Pasay City last Saturday. Illegal firecrackers seized in Bulacan. Know how to avoid fire incidents this holiday season. And find out the simple ways to stay in touch with your family and friends who are working abroad. Good evening. The number of fatalities caused by poisoning of Lambo Nog rises as 2 more persons died in Lucena City, Quezon. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
Lambo Nog poisoning claims 2 more lives in a public hospital in Lucena City, Quezon. In a report by the Lucena City Police, Arvin Jun Gonzalez, 34, and Dominic Colegio, 29, were rushed by their families to Quezon Medical Center on December 24 at around 8 a.m.
Wala na daw makita si Nick. Wala na, parang nabubulag na siya. Tapos sumusuka.
Gonzalez expired while undergoing treatment that night. On the other hand, Colegio expired while undergoing dialysis afternoon the next day.
So far sir, nagsasagwa pa kami ng malalim na pag-iimbestiga kung tama po bang proseso ang ginawa nila dun sa paglilimbag ng Lambo Nog or ito po ba ay kanilang dinaya lamang, katulad po nung may mga ulat na ito ay nilalagyan ng di umano'y gamot at hindi siya tamang proseso ginawa. Kaya ito ay nako-contaminate at nagkakameron ng lason.
Police say both families of the victims have refused to have their bodies undergo autopsy examination to determine the possible cause of their deaths. Meanwhile, authorities are investigating the deaths of 2 other men in the same barangay suspected to have been poisoned after consuming lambanog. The victims were said to have bought coconut liquor from a nearby store that came from Rey Lambanog in Barangay Tipas, San Juan, Batangas. According to the store owner, he was not aware and has not heard news about victims dying due to suspected poisoning after drinking lambanog, the same as what they are selling.
Inabisuhan po namin yung mga nagtitinda na wag po na muna silang magtinda ng lambanog hanggat hindi po na kiklear kung ito nga po ay may laso na.
There is another man from Pagbilao, Quezon undergoing dialysis and is believed to be poisoned due to coconut wine. Authorities have earlier reported that 12 people from Rizal and Nagcarlan towns in Laguna and 3 from Candelaria town in Quezon have died after drinking the local brew. Aiko Miguel, UNTV, News and Rescue.
President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, to look into the supposed lambanog poisoning in Laguna and Quezon. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara confirmed the report hours after a health official said that 15 people were killed while hundreds were hospitalized after ingesting palm wine in various provinces in Luzon. Tests from the Food and Drug Administration earlier showed that samples of the liquor that originated from a Batangas brewery contained about 11 to 18% of methanol, a toxic substance that attacks internal organs when ingested. The health department has yet to ban the sale and consumption of lambanog in Luzon since several palm wine brands passed FDA standard. National Capital Region Police Office, or NCRPO, warns Metro cops of possible charges should they use their service firearms during the holiday festivities. Leia Ilagan explains why.
The Philippine National Police, or PNP, recorded 1 death and 14 injuries caused by stray bullets from December 16, 2018 to January 1, 2019. Because of this, NCRPO Acting Director, Police Brigadier General Devol Sinas warns police officers charges will be filed against police officers during the upcoming year-end festivities. According to Sinas, policemen are required to attend the accounting of personnel in police camps or police stations on December 31st at 7 p.m. wearing complete uniforms and firearms to ensure they won't be involved in indiscriminate firing.
Para doon sa mga civilian, kung gun user kayo, ingat kayo kasi matitrace na natin yan. Kasi nga medyo scientific at saka medyo high-tech na yung natin, yung IBIS system natin ngayon sa crime laboratory. Kaya nga may iba, nalulocate natin sila through the system. Yung mga ibang kasamahan natin, mga kababayan, kamag-anak, pag meron kayong alam na nagpaputok ng baril, kung pwede itawag nyo sa pulis at ituro nyo para po maaresto natin.
Last December 21st, a Chinese national was arrested in Pasay City due to indiscriminate firing. Umaga,
4 o'clock, nagaling sa karaoke, tapos nagpaputok. Nahuli siya sa Pasay. Ang nakuha sa kanya is 25 caliber. Okay? Ngayon, naka-file na ang kaso sa kanya. Illegal possession plus alarm and scandal.
The NCRPO have destroyed confiscated illegal firecrackers worth more than 100,000 pesos sold in Metro Manila. The NCRPO also reminds the public to use firecrackers in designated firecracker zone only. That means no using of firecrackers in the street and outside their homes. According to the PNP, the public may use pyrotechnics. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Philippine National Police intensifies its monitoring on manufacturers and vendors of firecrackers. In Bukawi, Bulacan, the PNP confiscated several prohibited firecrackers. Joan Ano tells us why.
Bukawi police receive a call from a concerned citizen that someone has been discreetly manufacturing illegal firecrackers in Barangay Bangbang, Bukawi, Bulacan. The Philippine National Police immediately went to the area at past 5 o'clock this morning. The manufacturer was able to escape, but the police recovered 2 pieces of Bin Laden, 2 Goodbye Philippines, 3 reams of plapla, 5 kabase, and baby dynamite.
Ito po yung sinasaad ng mga kabilang doon sa pinagbabawal na nakalagay sa EO28. Ito'y patago na ginagawa at sa 10 oras ng gabi ginagawa. Pansamantala lang niyang ginagawa ito at by chance din po ang paggawa nito kasi po mahirap nga ang pagkuha ng chemicals para sa paggawa ng mga ito.
The police are vigilant in monitoring the manufacture and sale of illegal firecrackers. Authorities will also apprehend those who smoke near firecracker and fireworks stores due to dangers of fire and explosion. Buyers of firecrackers not prohibited by authorities flocked stores in Bukawi, Bulacan last night.
Wala nang choice kasi konti na lang yung pagpipilian. Tapos, mahal na.
Nagulat nga kami naging 21,000. Dapat 15,000 lang. Napasobra ng pili.
Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue.
Does your family have plans on witnessing the fireworks display in designated zones, or just use noisemakers to celebrate the coming of a new decade? In any case, it is wise to prepare your house from any fire incidents, or better yet, avoid one from happening. Getting prepared is not that hard. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Fireworks display and fire incident. These usually happen at the same time during the year-end festivities. Although data from the Bureau of Fire Protection show the number of fire incidents has decreased since 2011, the public must still be aware and careful to avoid fire. Here are some important things to do for a fire-free merrymaking. Flammable substance and material should be removed from open space and must be stored properly. Remove window curtains and other fabrics that can easily catch fire. Store water in containers. Secure important documents in sealed envelopes. Check the fire exits in a house or a building and set an evacuation plan. List down emergency hotlines and contact numbers of your immediate relatives. Check if the twinkle lights in your household or establishment have ICC stickers and Philippine Standard or PS marks. If they don't, better replace them with those that pass the standards. Planning on leaving your house this long weekend? Ask a trusted neighbor to look after your house. Always ready a first aid kit, especially one with items used in treating firecracker-related injuries. Authorities continue to remind the public not to use prohibited firecrackers and illegal pyrotechnic materials to avoid casualties this season. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue.
It's hard to be far away from loved ones. This is one of the common struggles of our kababayan working abroad. To ease their longing, there are simple and easy ways to make them feel missed and loved. Aiko Miguel reports.
The best things in life are free, so they say. This holiday season, there is no best gift for our loved ones working overseas than to see them and be with them. Decades ago, for Filipinos to talk with their loved ones abroad, making a call was quite expensive, and there was no video at that. But now, with the advent of modern technology, simple and convenient ways to speak with a relative afar are readily available. Some are even free. By using downloadable messaging apps, you can not just chat, talk, but also see the other person on the other end of the line. Like Chat Sauce, the flavor of life. Just download the app from Google Play Store or from the App Store. Install the app, create an account, buy a load for mobile data, or use Wi-Fi connection and you're good to go. Or use other messaging apps. Just like what Adonis did, every now and then he can easily call his mother-in-law who is in Sicily, Italy.
So habang nagpapahinga kayo na, ay naglalaba kayo? Nay, ano namimiss mo sa Pilipinas?
Kain-kain natin sa restaurant, labas-labas natin. Yun lang.
For Adonis, it's good that his mother-in-law Josie learned how to call using the internet. Before, people communicated through telegrams or tape-recorded voice messages, and replies would be received many days after.
Dati telegram lang, titipirin mo pa yung sa uwi, nanay, galing ganito. So, yung character para malesen mo yung bayad, talagang gagawin mong barok.
No matter the means, it's important to make your relatives feel they are loved and missed.
Pag struggle niya, namimiss na kami lahat. Yung mga anak niya, hindi nakakasama. Yung mga pagkukulang niya na financially stable. Pero yung lingap nung magulang doon sa anak, siguro yun yung mga namiss sa anak. Kung ako ang meron lang na enough na sufficiente na doon sa needs po nila, ako mismo magsasabi, nandiyan ka na lang. Kailangan mo na magpahinga, kami naman na magtatrabaho para sa iyo.
One of the grandest presents can be given to anyone without spending much. Communicate, tell them they are missed, send them messages of hope, remind them they are loved. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
And to complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. Maguindanao Congressman Esmael Toto Mangudadatu asked for additional security escort for Sharif Aguac Vice Mayor Ahmad Ampatuan after Tuesday's ambush incident. He also believes the perpetrators won't stop. Dante Amento tells us why.
Authorities already have persons of interest in connection with the ambush of Sharif Aguac Vice Mayor Ahmad Ampatuan on Tuesday. According to Armed Forces of the Philippines Western Mindanao Command spokesperson Major Arvin Jan Encinas, politics is one motive they are considering.
Kasama naman yan sa mga binibigyan ng pansin sa investigation. Politics at yung nangyari, maganda na masakit, may relasyon ba o wala.
According to Congressman Ismael Toto Mangudadato, the main complainant in the Ampatuan massacre case, it would be better to increase the number of the Vice Mayor's security escorts. He is also worried the perpetrators will not stop. Vice Mayor Ahmad is currently under the Justice Department's Witness Protection Program after he testified against the Ampatuans, although he himself belongs to the powerful clan. The Vice Mayor has been ambushed twice. For Mangudadato, there is no other reason but the Vice Mayor standing as a witness in the crime.
Wala kaming ibang nakitang angle except that one, itong pag-witness niya.
The Sharif Aguac Vice Mayor is now recuperating in a hospital after suffering injuries. His driver and his bodyguard died in the ambush. Dante Amento, UNTV News and Rescue.
Meanwhile, the National Democratic Front of the Philippines, or NDFP, has received a copy of the ceasefire declaration of the government in their office at the Netherlands. In particular, the group received a copy that contains the suspension of offensive military operations, or SOMO, and the suspension of offensive police operations, or SOPO. NDFP Chief Negotiator Fidel Agkawili says that his side hopes the unilateral and reciprocal ceasefires declared by the two parties shall proceed effectively. NDFP Chief Political Consultant and Communist Party of the Philippines founder Jose Maria Joma Sison had demanded the copy of the government ceasefire declaration. The holiday truce has been implemented since December 23, 2019 to end on January 7, 2020. Good evening. The Taliban have set free 27 marchers of a peace advocacy group who were kidnapped and taken to an undisclosed location earlier this week from western Afghanistan. Meanwhile, at least 14 people have been killed after a plane with 98 people on board crashed in Kazakhstan. Rosalie Kos tells us why.
In Kazakhstan, a plane carrying 100 people crashed near Kazakhstan's Almaty airport on Friday, killing at least 14 people. The Bek Air flight departed with 95 passengers and 5 crew on board en route to capital Nur Sultan. They say the Bek Air aircraft went down shortly after taking off at Almaty Airport on Friday morning local time, smashing into a building. At least 60 injured people, including children, were taken to hospitals. Authorities are yet to identify the cause of the crash. In Afghanistan, the Taliban released 27 peace activists Thursday, a day after they were abducted in an ambush on their convoy in western Afghanistan, a leader of the activist organization said. Phone lines were down in the region, making communication difficult, and the reason for the activist abduction was still unclear, said Bismillah Watandos of the People's Peace Movement of Afghanistan. The insurgents ambushed the group in the district of Bala Buluk in Farah province Tuesday. Insurgents forced the 6-vehicle convoy to a halt, then got into the cars and drove them and the activists to an unknown location. A provincial police operation was launched to locate and free the activists, whose convoy was going village to rally for peace in the war-torn country. And in Israel, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has claimed a huge win in a vote that challenged his leadership of the Likud party. About 49% of Likud's 116,000 eligible members voted on Thursday, party figures show. Challenger Gideon Sa'ar conceded defeat, saying he would now back Mr. Netanyahu in March's general election. The internal party vote was seen as a test of Mr. Netanyahu's hold on power at a time of mounting difficulties. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue.
Indonesia commemorated the 15th anniversary of the deadly tsunami that killed around 227,000 people in 14 countries surrounding the Indian Ocean amid efforts to improve its diminished early warning system. Kath Dumaraos details this report.
Groups of Indonesians went to pray in front of mass graves in northern Sumatra's Aceh province, the ground zero of the tragedy where thousands of victims have been buried. Almost all the Indonesian casualties due to the tsunami caused by magnitude 9.3 earthquake were registered in Aceh. Life has gone back to normal in this tropical province, where many survivors have rebuilt their homes in the same place the originals were, swept away by waves of up to 30 meters high. Following the disaster, countries around the Indian Ocean such as Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, Yemen, and Tanzania have improved their response capabilities, but the system's maintenance has been poor in the Indonesian archipelago. In 2008, Indonesia launched an expensive alert system with 22 buoys, but they stopped working 4 years later due to vandalism and poor maintenance. Although Indonesia has seismic sensors in place to detect earthquakes and tsunamis, they are less efficient than the buoys. The shortcomings of the systems came to light in September last year when an earthquake and subsequent tsunami on the island of Sulawesi claimed the lives of 4,300 people. Consequently, the Agency for Assessment and Application of Technology began installing the first 4 buoys of a new network that will have 12 devices operational by 2021. The authorities will also install 2 underwater fiber optic cables for real-time transmission of sensor measurements. In addition, some Aceh residents continue to feel insecure in the face of a shortage of awareness programs and drills conducted by authorities in what is one of the most prone countries to earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions on Earth. The memory of the devastating waves that swept through entire villages remains alive in Indonesia, where one can still visit ships that were dragged up to 4 kilometers inland and have now been converted into museums. In Banda Aceh, more than 50 people managed to survive on December 26, 2004 by climbing onto one of these boats that was swept in by the water and lodged on top of a house. A museum and some remnants of preserved ruins also served to recall the tsunami in the province, which for decades suffered a separatist conflict that was resolved after the tragedy. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Dutch government has decided to stop describing itself as Holland and will instead use only its real name, the Netherlands. Jovic Burmas details why.
The Dutch government will stop using the moniker Holland in favor of its official name, the Netherlands. From January 2020, companies, embassies, ministries, and universities will only be able to refer to the state using its legitimate title. The €200,000 rebrand is part of an update of the country's international image. It will also include a logo that combines the initials NL with an orange tulip, the Netherlands' national flower. The Netherlands Board of Tourism and Conventions previously used the symbol of a tulip and the word Holland. Holland is not the official name of the entire country and refers to 2 of the 12 provinces, North Holland, which includes Amsterdam and Haarlem, and South Holland, where The Hague, Rotterdam, and Leiden are situated. The tourism industry started promoting the nation using the nickname 25 years ago, but now wants to present commerce, science, and politics of the whole country. The change of image was part of a renewed tourism strategy that aims to put an end to large numbers of visitors on cheap flights, particularly to Amsterdam, and promote more sustainable and respectful travel. Minister of Economic Affairs Eric Weibes said the Netherlands has the most competitive economy in Europe and the 4th in the world, and frequently presents innovative solutions to technical and social challenges. It said it expects the number of international visitors to reach 30 million in 2030, which will increase the pressure on the quality of life in the environment and makes it necessary not only to promote the country, but also to emphasize a broad and sustainable development of the Netherlands. Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue.
This holiday season, many beggars are out in the streets, cold and hungry, begging for alms. Some people give them a little money or coins, while others just pass by them. Some even doubt what's behind them asking for cash. Let's find out what good the act of giving alms to beggars brings. Joanna reports.
Boy is a 54-year-old beggar. He has been living alone in the streets for 4 years. He was left by his family members who live in Nueva Ecija. Because of poverty in the province, he tried his luck to get a job in Metro Manila. But he failed because he was out of school during his younger years. With no other choice left for him, he resorted to asking for alms just to survive day by day. Despite his situation in life, which others may see as pitiful, Boy feels grateful to those people who extend their helping hand to him. Boy shares there are people who regularly help him although he doesn't even know them personally.
Sa kanila, nabibigyan nila ako araw-araw. Natutulungan nila ako. Maraming salamat sa kanila. Sana marami pa sila matulungan na kaya nila. Marami pa sila mabigyan. Nakakatulad ko.
There are people who have a heart to help the needy. But there are others who refuse to lend a helping hand. Some even doubt the real status in life of beggars in streets. International televangelist Brother Eli Soriano, the overall servant of Members Church of God International or MCGI and host of multi-award-winning religious program The Old Path, says the Bible teaches that it is important to always put on our minds the teachings of God to love our fellow men and to help those in need.
Kaya meron talagang batas ang Diyos sa pagbibigay, pag-ambag, pagtulong sa kapwa. At hindi po pagtuturong maging tamad yun, yung nililimusan mo. O yung tinutulungan mo, hindi pagtuturong maging tamad. Kasi lalo na kung ang lilimusan mo, mga physically incapacitated, mga taong walang magagawa sa buhay, ay para mo nang pinaginhawa sila ng kapiraso sa iyong ililimos.
Brother Eli adds that when in doubt of those who are asking for help, God will be the judge of that.
Sabihin ng iba, miyembro ng sindikato yan, ano pakialam ko? Basta't kaya ako naglimos lumalapit itong taong pagkakita ko mahirap kung siya ba ay miyembro ng sindikato, niloloko niya ako, siya managot. Ako, nakasunod ako sa utos. Nasunod ko yung utos na magmahal sa kapwa.
We must always bear in mind it is more blessed to give than to receive. Whether you are recognized or not, matters most is that there is God who will reward a person's good works towards others. Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue.
Over 400 residents in Cabuyao City, Laguna came to a medical mission brought to their barangay. They hope for more such activities in the future, not just in their locality, but also in other areas in need of free medical and legal services. Sherwin Kulubong reports why.
89-year-old Toribio Adan was among the early birds at the medical mission held by the Kamanggagawa Foundation Incorporated, Members Church of God International or MCGI, and UNTV in Barangay Baclaran, Cabuyao City, Laguna this morning. He came to consult a doctor about the chest pain and breathing difficulty he has been experiencing.
May barara ang puso ko. Kaya yun ang naramdaman kong pag sumakit ang tiyan, koneksyon na doon. Papagal-pagal ako. Nahina ang puso, kaya pala ako'y nahapo. Ay papasalamat at meron tayong medical mission.
After a doctor's assessment, Toribia was advised to take the medicines given to him for free. Teodora Bernabe, on the other hand, who came with her grandson, wanted to have their coughs and colds checked. They were also provided medicines by the medical mission volunteers.
Malaking bagay po talaga kasi yung gamot. Una-una yung gamot, yung bayad sa doktor, wala po kaming kakayang. Siyempre po, mangungutang pa para may pambayan. Dito wala po. Kaya po nagpapasalamat po ako sa lahat po ng bumubuo ng pag-medical mission dito.
Aside from the free medical services, residents in need of legal assistance were able to consult the lawyers who came with the group. There were also free haircut and free massage therapy. Over 400 Barangay Baclaran residents benefited from the group's free services.
Kung pagbibigyan ho uli kami, gusto ho namin maulit. Sa totoo lang, talagang napakalaking bagay ho yan. Ay, sa kahirapan ho.
Aside from the free medical mission, MCGI is also known for rendering other free services, including free rides, free education and feeding program, among others. This through Kuya Daniel Rason and Brother Eli Soriano's advocacy. No good deed will bear evil fruit. Sherwin Kulubong, UNTV, News and Rescue, Cabuyao, Laguna.
And those are the reasons behind the news this December 27, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo. And before we close, we will recap today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
The Philippines is immediately ordering the Bureau of Immigration to deny U.S. Senators Dick Durbin and Patrick Leahy the imperious, uninformed, and gullible American legislators who introduced the subject provision in the 2020 budget entry to the Philippines. Should a ban from entry into U.S. territory be enforced against Philippine officials involved in or by reason of Senator De Lima's lawful imprisonment, this government will require all Americans intending to come to the Philippines to apply and secure a visa before they can enter Philippine territory.
Sasagawa pa kami ng malalim na pag-iimbestiga kung tama po bang proseso ang ginawa nila dun sa paglilimbag ng Lambo Nog or ito po ba ay kanilang dinaya lamang katulad po nung may mga ulat na ito ay nilalagyan ng di umano'y gamot.
Para doon sa mga civilian, kung gun user kayo, ingat kayo kasi matitrace na natin yan. Kasi nga, medyo scientific at saka medyo high-tech na yung natin, yung IBIS system natin ngayon sa crime laboratory. Kaya nga, may iba, nalulocate natin sila through the system. Yung mga ibang kasamahan natin, mga kababayan, kamag-anak, pag meron kayong alam na nagpaputok ng baril, kung pwede, itawag nyo sa pulis at ituro nyo para po ma-aresto natin.
Nakatingala ko sa langit. Panginoon, tulungan mo ako. Bigyan mo pa ako ng lakas ng loob. Tapos nakita ko yung kahoy po. Ganon yung dahon. Lumangoy ako tapos kumapit. Sabi ko sa sarili ko, hindi ako bibitiw hanggat may lakas ako. Ano ko yung sarili ko. Isalba ko yung sarili ko. Pero sabi ko, wala na ako. Napaluhan na lang ako.